guys, in this video I'm going to demonstrate to you how to begin to break down texture. So we're going to experiment with a couple of items. This item right here is a bracelet of mine and it has a very interesting texture, I think. So we're going to sort of look at how to break that down. Now this is not about drawing the bracelet itself or the object itself. It's about trying to break down textures and sort of see how we can begin to use line and value to create texture. And that's really what it comes down to. Now look in your sketchbook because you're going to see that there is a PowerPoint that you guys have had before, or a Google slide really, that has lots of different lines that you can choose from to use to sort of create some texture. And if you look at the texture slide as well, it will give you some examples there that may help you. But so what we want to do is sort of break this down, and I can look at it and I can see the basically I see how these lines make this kind of S shape here, and I can sort of see how they're kind of aligned diagonally. So those are some of my first observations. I can also, a big thing when it comes to drawing is your light source. So I'm going to have some really nice photos of these objects for you to look at as you are drawing them. But you always want to consider your light source. If you're trying to draw in the dark, that's not going to work. If you are trying to draw with a really, really dull pencil, that's not going to work. It may help for shading a little bit. But when you first start out, you're probably going to want probably a decent point on your pencil, unless you're starting with shading, and then you may want a dull pencil just to get some value on the page. But I'm going to be looking for where the light hits. So a lot of times I'm noticing that the light will sort of hit where the metal bends, and then down kind of underneath it's a little bit darker. So you might have to try again. So I'm going to show you my first attempt. I kind of used my observations, and this is what I came up with initially, so at the beginning. And I really didn't like how that was looking. So I said, well, I'm going to try again. And I think that my second attempt was far more successful. Now notice I'm not drawing the whole thing, not drawing the bracelet. I'm really just trying to get that texture, that woven kind of look. You're going to find that you are going to draw with your eraser just as much as you draw with a pencil. So you're going to put some lines down, you're going to put some shading down, and you're going to erase, and you're going to go back and forth, or add and take away, add and take away. So have your eraser handy. Have a pencil sharpener handy, because for some areas it may be helpful to have a dull point, like I said, if you want to just add some shading in there. And then in other areas you're going to need a nice sharp point so that you can sort of darken up some areas. So one thing that's really going to make things pop is if you have a nice bit of contrast happening in your work. So if everything looks the same shade, the same value level, or within a couple of value levels, then it's not really going to pop like we like to see in a drawing. And again, I noticed that when I was looking at this, that the dark part was over here where my light is not, and the lightest part of that shape is over here where the light is. So when I started drawing, I used that to sort of inform what I was doing. Now you are not trying to directly duplicate exactly what you see. You're using this as inspiration. So think about that as well. You're not trying to recreate every single line that you see. That's not reasonable. So don't set that expectation for yourself. You're just trying to get something that kind of tells someone when they look at it that they're seeing something woven. And I think that we did that here. I did that. And so I did a lot of shading. I just kind of came in, you can see up here, and I'm going to bring this a little closer. Okay. You can see up here where I've sort of started, and I did these kind of really light outlines, and then I really started increasing the value coming in from the left. The value's a lot stronger. And then over here on the right, I started lifting away. A couple of tools that you might want to use, sometimes mechanical pencils have a nice eraser that is fairly small, and that allowed me to kind of lift out some of the value here. So notice that I did not outline every single one of these little forms. You can see a pretty good outline happening over here where it's more dark. But over on this side, if you want to think about outlining, I really did it with my eraser. Now this is a mechanical eraser. If you like drawing, you might want to pick one of those up. You can find them at Walmart or Michael's, anywhere you want to go like that. But just a standard pencil eraser will do the same thing. Another tool that you might want to consider putting into your bag is something really simple that most people have at home. It is a Q-tip. Or you could use a cotton ball or just a tissue. And that allows you to kind of smear your value a little bit. And if you get some value on the page, that allows you to come back and pull out these nice highlights. Make sure as you're drawing them, if you're going to have a nice picture of this to work from, make sure you look closely. Don't just assume that they're all the same. Some of them are going to be different. So you don't want all of this to look exactly uniform, exactly the same. You want to sort of notice, where is the light hitting, where is it dark, how does it look different on this side versus on this side. Alright, so take out your pencil, your eraser, your sharpener, get something handy that you can use to smear some value on the page, and I want you to experiment with line but also with the eraser, the removal of value from your paper, and see what you can do with using creating value like you see here. Okay?